house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house. Been practicing this a little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed.
That was good. I liked it.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Big Easy Bets podcast. I'm your host, Logan, and with me in the studio, Nick Von Brick.
Yo.
We got Bam in the control booth.
What up?
This is episode 245. College football bowl season begins. It's Army-Navy week, and it's also NFL week 15. Hit that like and subscribe button if you don't mind. We got a lot to dive into. The college football playoff is set. Notre Dame, did they get snubbed? Did they deserve to be out? We'll talk about that. Phillip Rivers is making a triumphant return to the NFL at the young age of 44. He's got a child the same age as Riley Leonard, who might be the starting quarterback for the Colts. A lot to dive into, a lot to break down. We're going to give you our Circa Millions update. Ladies and gentlemen, we are skyrocketing up the leaderboards, and we're going to try to keep it going here. Hit the like and subscribe button. Bam, how are you feeling?
Feel great.
How are you feeling?
Good.
Has the pressure set in yet?
There's always pressure.
But has it set in? It's just been constant pressure because through 7 weeks, there was none.
Yeah, I mean, in this game, there's always pressure. Because on Monday, I can be broke any weekend.
Yeah, but this is a different kind of pressure, in my opinion. So we'll lead it off with that. We had another good week in the NFL. At this point, if you haven't listened to us, if you haven't tailed, look, this is our Slumdog Millionaire season. If you sat on the sidelines for this, you got nobody to blame but yourself, pal. If you've rooted for us to lose, you've just sat around rooting on shit that hasn't happened and isn't going to happen. So, knock on wood. It's been an incredible season. We are on a ridiculous run in the Circa Millions. So much so that through 7 weeks, we were under 500. And then now we are currently in 41st place out of nearly 6,000 people. And that's what I mean when I say the pressure has begun to set in, at least for me. I knew we went 4-1 last week. I knew we were going to take a decent jump up. We were 114th. In my brain, I guess I was expecting like 70th, and then I saw 41st with like a razor-thin margin from being right there in the mix in terms of like around the top 10. And then you're like, oh, shit. These picks are important now. Like, now it's like I almost had to go for another walk and clear my head. Like, on second thought, maybe I don't like this team. Yeah, but I think there's got to be a big emphasis on just continuing doing the same thing and not veering away from what's been working. But, yeah, you don't think there's any additional pressure?
Not yet.
My problem is I start thinking about how fun it's going to be to win.
Yeah, I mean, I want to be racked up shoddy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, that'll be sick, having a bunch of money.
It's also what I was saying. I'm tired of almost winning. So I think it was the second time I had gone to Vegas when we went, and this was our first time all going out to Vegas, entering into this competition, but it was my second time going. The first time I went was for my 21st birthday, and I bet on the Saints to win the Super Bowl, and I get it. Sounds like a homer play, but it wasn't. I still remember it vividly. The year before, we bet on the Saints to win the Super Bowl in 2017. It was the Alvin Kamara, Marshawn Lattimore draft, a home run draft. But the year before that, if you remember, we had Will Lutz at kicker, and that was the Broncos. I was in the dome for it. The Broncos blocked a field goal, returned it, stepped on the sideline, white cleat. They said they couldn't tell. Should have won that game. You had Victor Cruz, rest in peace, I think he died, down the right sideline over Delvin Breaux in 2016, hitting the salsa dance on us where Breaux should have made a play on the ball, should have won that game. I'm telling you, I remember it vividly.
Victor Cruz died?
I think he might have. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
Let me look that up.
Yeah, Google that for me. That's a big one. Point being, it wasn't just a homer pick. We were better than the record, missing the playoffs 3 years in a row. So we went and bet the Saints 60-1. We would have won over $30,000. That was the Minnesota Miracle year, long story short. It broke my heart.
He's still alive.
Jesus. Who died? Victor
It
Cruz.
does say another individual named Victor Cruz passed away in 2021.
Yeah, that
but
was the
there was a baseball player that died in 2004, and then this other one was just another
Are you
obituary.
sure wide receiver Victor Cruz is alive?
It says no, the well-known NFL player Victor Cruz did not die, but there are other people named Victor Cruz has passed away.
I'm pretty sure he's dead. Rest in peace, if so. I don't want to sound inconsiderate. Are we positive Victor Cruz is alive? You can't trust Bam Googling.
That's AI.
What do you mean that's AI?
AI. He pulled up obituaries from other people named Victor Cruz.
Well, where is he? Has anybody seen him? When's the last time you saw Victor Cruz? Somebody for the Giants died. Who was it? Anyone?
I don't know. Let me see.
I know, are we sure? Maybe he's alive. Whatever. We're getting caught up on semantics here.
Nick Mangold.
Okay, come on, Bam. Not even remotely close to the same
First
player,
thing that
position,
popped up.
look, physical appearance.
Sport.
No, they played the same sport, you jackass. You know, Nick Mangold was an offensive lineman for the Jets. He was one of the best ever. Bam.
I don't know.
You were a lineman. Have some fucking respect. Anyway, the point was, I'm tired. That was a big tangent that we just went on there. I'm tired of almost winning. I thought we were going to win the Super Bowl that year. Stephon Diggs down the right sideline. I was lying to myself, I kept telling myself over and over again he stepped out of bounds. He didn't. Marcus Williams, Ken Crawley. It's a disaster. So I'm tired of almost winning. Long story short, we have a 4-week stretch, 20 picks left to decide if we make some serious money. But you have a poor 4 weeks, and you could make $0. So we're in the money as we speak. We could be out of the money like that. Or if we do what we did the last 4 weeks, this 4 weeks, we might be talking serious coin here. So the pressure's going to get ramped up here starting this week for sure. We got a good start to the quarter. This is the fourth and final quarter, 4-1 start. We went with a Thursday play. I still felt like we could have got a push there if there wasn't a terrible offensive PI call. Push would have been huge. That would have been a big difference in the standings as well. But yeah, we'll see what we can do. We got to try to find more winners. We're on an incredible run in the NFL right now. Like I said, this is a Slumdog Millionaire run between the two of us. Separate picks, both over 60% against the spread. You combine those together, you get the 41st place in the Circa Millions. So let's talk about the college football playoff. Notre Dame is on the outside looking in. Right or wrong move?
I think it's tough to say. I don't know. I think we were talking about it a little bit, but it's like on the one hand, is Notre Dame good enough to be in the college football playoff? Absolutely. But the other hand, it's like I think they hurt themselves not playing a conference championship.
Yeah. And if you saw, they starting next year, they don't need to be in a conference because if they're ranked inside the top 12, they're automatically in. You saw that?
They're changing it?
Yeah. They've got it in writing. Like next year, if Notre Dame's in the top 12 rankings, they're in the tournament.
Does that mean everybody or just
Notre Dame?
That's strange.
It's like a specific to them thing because they don't want to join a conference, I guess. Yeah, I think Notre Dame, I'm mad because I was penciling down Notre Dame as like a blind, gonna bet them, and they're gonna cover. And they were one of the 3 or 4 teams that legitimately could win the national championship. So it doesn't feel right. And I've been a big proponent for like you need to let the smaller schools in because that's how you get the Cinderella upsets. And we saw Tulane beat USC a couple years back, and that was fun and an incredible comeback against Caleb Williams. And you want to give the smaller schools something to play for. I pulled the 180. I don't give a fuck about JMU, and I don't care about Tulane. So in terms of, I get like, look, we got people that are listening to this that are going to clutch your pearls. I don't dislike Tulane. I just want to see the best games. I don't want to see a ton of 20-point spreads in the first round. With that also being said, we did watch Tennessee go get skull-fucked by Ohio State. That was a non-competitive game. I think my solution was JMU should have to play Vanderbilt and Tulane should have to play Notre Dame or vice versa. Winner gets the last 2 spots in the tournament, in the playoff, and then problem solved. Vanderbilt was trying to find people to play anyway, which was a weird scenario. They would have had to sober Diego Pavia up from UFC 3 whatever, but yeah, it sucks. You're not going to be able to see Jeremiah Love play football for Notre Dame anymore. Price is probably also done. It's a legitimate Notre Dame team that could have won the national championship, so it doesn't feel right that they're not in. But also, with that being said, the head-to-head does have to matter. I totally get it. As far as Alabama, I understand that too. You don't want to penalize. You don't want to take away the point of conference championships, whereas Alabama was the number 1 team in the SEC. They got blown out of the water by Georgia in the SEC championship. If you knock them all the way out of the college football playoff, they're going to go, okay, if we didn't play, and that would we still be in? The thing with Notre Dame and their gripe is the fact that they were in. They were firmly in, didn't play, and got removed at the 11th hour, where they've been in for a couple weeks now. So they declined their bowl bid, and I have no problem with them doing that either. I'd like to, if they gave a fuck about the game, I'd bet them. But clearly they don't, and they weren't going to, so that's why they're not going to play. They're not going to assist ESPN, who kind of just screwed them. So it's really Oklahoma, in my opinion, that shouldn't be in. I don't think Oklahoma deserves to be in. I don't think they look good at all. So, and then we get a Bama-Oklahoma rematch in the first round. Did you see the Justin Herbert interview at the end of the game last night?
I didn't.
Did you, Bam?
No.
It was Laura Rutledge. It was right after the game, and he's like trying to go celebrate with the teammates, and he's walking. He's got his back to the camera walking, and she like runs up behind him, and people were kind of giving her shit, I guess, because she grabbed his hurt arm. She barely touched it, but she was like, hey, can you come talk to us for a second? He's like, I want to celebrate with my teammates. And she's like, can you just talk to us for 1 second? And then he turned around. So people were saying he's unprofessional for not sitting there talking with Laura Rutledge, saying the defense played great, I feel fine, and the answers you expect to get. But people were like, he was so disrespectful, and he wasn't. I think we got to get over this clutching the pearls society of everything's, how could he? She did her job. He didn't want to do the interview, but then he did the interview and answered legitimate answers and didn't give her, like, wasn't short with her. Honestly, gave a extended answer, mid-answer. An opposing player comes up, tells him good game. He turns around, says good game, goes back and continues giving the answer. So he could have been really short and said, how's the hand? Fine. How'd the defense play? Great. And then got out of there. He didn't do it. So I think it's crazy that people are like just fucking complaining about his attitude towards her. I thought it was fine. He doesn't have to jump for joy that he's got to talk and give the same canned answer that everybody gives, because if he says anything out of the box, the media is going to run with it, and Stephen A. Smith's going to scream his head off for fucking 3 hours on First Take. So they all say the same shit. He's going to go do a mandatory press conference in 20 minutes and say the same answers. So it was a big game, a big win. He wanted to celebrate with his team. And the best interview was Tony Jefferson, the guy who got the interception at the end. He was out of breath talking about how much of a warrior Justin Herbert is and how awesome that, like, that's the guy you talk to, the guy who doesn't always get the shine and isn't the face of the team. I just think it's crazy. People fucking complain about everything. You got two sides. One's complaining about her touching his arm, and then the other side's complaining about him not being ecstatic to do the interview. It's like, who gives a fuck? Nobody did anything wrong, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's her job to go out there and interview after the game, right? But then, I don't know. I didn't see it, so it's hard for me to judge, but
it was harmless. He just said, you can hear him in the mic go like, no, I'm going to celebrate with the team. Like, he didn't want to do it. It was clear. He was like, not thrilled. He was like, okay, fuck, like, basically. But then he gave the answers, and he elaborated on some answers and wasn't an asshole about it. And he knows that, look, this is the media deals, and that's how their contracts are paid for. It's all a cohesive thing. It goes hand in hand. This is, you do the interviews with ESPN, and it works together. So But he doesn't have to be jumping out of his chair, excited to do it. Give me a break. And then, last thing, Phillip Rivers, 44 years old, off the couch, 12 kids deep, coaching high school football. His son, is he going to play? Is Riley Leonard healthy enough to play?
I don't know. I heard there was a good chance that Rivers could play this Sunday.
That would be remarkable. If he does play, it extends his Hall of Fame bid another 5 years. But imagine he goes out and beats the Seahawks. Zero chance. No shot. But it's I just want to see, does he look serviceable? Does he look like because remember towards the end of his career, he sucked. He was old. But now he's older.
Yeah.
You're 44 years old. This is like Brett Favre on crack. This is like.
Yeah, I think he can still be decent.
Well, they said he's coaching his son in high school, and they're running the same offense, and he's been collaborating with Steichen. So, they would go over film and stuff. They're running identical offenses, so he knows the system. So that's interesting because he was on the Colts. That was where he was last with. So, obviously been in contact, and it'll be look, it's must-see TV. That's a probable Hall of Famer. Phillip Rivers is in the Hall of Fame, right?
I would say so, yeah.
Not first ballot.
No.
Let's not get crazy, but a probable Hall of Famer who might be coming back at 44 years old to go play one of the best teams in the league, getting 2 touchdowns. Does he cover, though? That's the question. Does Phillip Rivers come off the couch and cover the fucking number? Now we're talking. But it's pretty much all I got. It's going to be a shorter episode this week. So like I said, bowl season has begun. Last year, we dominated bowl season. It literally brought us out of the gutter. If I do that again this year, we need it. Let's put it this way. It's been an absolute disaster in college football. Last year, we went 30, 11, and 3. We pick every single bowl game, no matter we like it or not. We're going to have a play. Last year was incredibly profitable. We're going to try to do it again. We will quickly recap conference championships, and then we'll get to it. Started out with the American Athletic. We had North Texas taking on Tulane. I laid 2.5 points with North Texas, and then we took the under 66.5. Hawkins, star running back for North Texas, got hurt right off the bat, fumbled on the play he got hurt on. It was just absolute disaster for North Texas. And then there was also a fucking terrible call where, was it Mestemaker threw a pick or there was a fumble, and they're returning it, and Mestemaker goes back to his playing days in high school where he played safety, hits the guy at the goal line, clearly outside of the end zone. He fumbles out the back of the end zone. Should be a touchback. Referees go review it for 20 minutes, come back and say it's a touchdown. So, or whatever they called. Yeah, they were saying he crossed the goal line. Fucking terrible call. And to be honest with you, North Texas was beginning to get back in that game. Not saying that would have been the difference, but it was a tough series of events for North Texas in this one. But the under did hit. My lock of the week was BYU plus 12.5. It's a bad play, but I will say we were both on it. You jumped on it after I made it my lock. You were definitely leaning that way. I still think, and I'll see what you think here, I thought BYU's defense did enough. It at least showed they had the ability in the really all game. The turnovers were the problem, and that's what we talked about. If they could clean up the turnovers that they had in the first game, if they could clean that up in the conference championship, BYU would be able to hang in this game. They marched down, scored a touchdown first drive. Bear Bachmeier hurt his ankle, became basically immobile, and he's not a good passer. He's not a pocket passer. They had no threat to push the ball downfield. So Texas Tech's just loading the box. There was nothing they could do from that point. First drive, they marched down 7-0. I was feeling great. Defensively, did they hold them to a field goal first drive, or did they get the ball back? One of the two. But they were getting pressure on Morton initially, and the defense was playing well. It was just they turned it over 4 or 5 times. The wheels came off there late where Bachmeier started trying to push the ball down the field, being down as much as they were. I still stand on, and I'm not even so certain that if he doesn't hurt his ankle that's the difference. But that was a huge factor. He's a terrible passer. It's all relying on his ability to be mobile. As soon as that went out the door, it was fucked. But the reason we took BYU was because I felt like the defense would be able to get after Texas Tech. That's not a championship offense. It's just not. So the defense is good enough, but that offense, I don't think Morton's good enough to get it done. So UNLV plus 4.5. Not good. Not good. They kind of made a push there. At least they tried to, if I remember correctly, but Boise was handling them, and then they started kind of. Let me try to pull it up so I can remember what the fuck I'm talking about. Yeah, it ended up being 38-21, but I think Boise had they scored 10 points in the fourth quarter. So it was 28-21 going into the fourth quarter. UNLV got back into it, made it a little bit of a game there. So tough start, but then we rattled off some winners. Georgia minus 2.5 and the under 48 was a double winner in the SEC championship. Georgia handled Alabama. I don't think Ty Simpson's very good. I don't think he played well. I think that showed to be true. He was 19 of 39, a touchdown and a pick. Georgia, we said we felt like they would be able to have success running the ball like they did in the first game. They didn't have that much, but they ran it for 141 yards. -3 rushing yards for Alabama. Obviously, you got to take away the sacked yards. Just a dominant performance from Georgia's defense, who's playing their best at the right time. Indiana plus 4.5. You broke it down. I was in agreement. Field goal game. Indiana wins the game outright, though. That defense played extremely well. You saw they lost their second or third leader in sacks.
No, I did not.
Celebrating after the game. I don't know what it was. He tore something in his knee. One of their better players on the edge. So, not good. Tough loss, but an impressive win, an impressive performance from Indiana in the defense and in the trenches. They can hold their own against anybody in the country. Ryan Day coached like a bitch, and that's what you get. Duke, Virginia over 57.5. This one was frustrating because we went to overtime, and there was 47 points scored. Virginia played like shit and really just didn't look very good. And not that Duke looked great either, but I expected Morris to play better than he did. He was 21 of 40, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. You had Mensah 19 of 25. But yeah, it looked like they were playing to fucking try to score as little as they could. 4-4 on the week brings me to 45, 66, and 4. 7-8 in my locks of the week. We had 5 straight winners in terms of our locks, and then that came to a halt. Are we doing locks this week?
Yeah.
Are we? Well, that tells you how I feel about mine. You had 4 plays. You went 2-2. We were on everything the same?
Yep.
Yeah, so we already touched on it. You did. Your lock was Georgia. Easy winner. Brings you to 35, 37, and 2, 9 and 6 in your locks. Bam, how did you do?
Had 3 plays, went 2-1, had North Texas minus 2.5. You already touched on that. Texas Tech minus 12.5. And then I had the Ohio State, Indiana under 48.5 as my lock of the week. There were 23 points scored.
Okay. You betting Texas Tech to win the national championship?
I did not, but not opposed.
I'll take it. You want to? I'll book it for you. I know you like Texas Tech. I heard you.
Well, you going to give me increased odds or what?
Yeah, of course. What do you think? We're going to go even money? I'll give you what are their odds right now?
Let's see.
I would imagine it's somewhere in 8-1 range.
I imagine it's got
Plus 800 to plus 900.
I'll give you 8-1.
Okay.
And we'll figure out what you want to put on that. What's your overall record?
16-19, and that puts me at 7-6 for my locks of the week.
Alrighty. All right, like I said, it's Army-Navy week, but it's different this year where it's not a standalone Army-Navy game like normal. We also have a bowl game that day, the Bucked-Up L.A. Bowl with Boise and Washington. But we'll start it off Army-Navy. We'll show them some respect the troops. Neutral site, M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, where the Ravens play. Navy won the last meeting 31-13. Very short and sweet. I'm going to lay the points here with Navy. I think that Horvath is the reliable quarterback. This opened around 4.5. It looked like some money came in on Navy. It's now sitting at -6. I think there's going to come time where they're going to do the either the trick plays or they're going to try to catch the defense sleeping and take a shot. And Navy's much more capable of pushing the ball downfield through the air. Horvath has 10 big-time throws with only 4 turnover-worthy plays. Helms, quarterback for Army. Obviously, both quarterbacks lead their schools in rushing, and he has got 3 big-time throws on the year. So I trust Horvath to be able to make the throws when necessary. But it's Army-Navy. You know what to fucking expect with Army-Navy. It's scary to lay points in a game like this. Navy did handle it last year, though. I think they're going to do it again, so I'll lay 6.
Did you decide on your lock? Oh,
I guess it's the bucked up LA Bowl.
Oh, shit.
Should we just make it Navy?
Yeah.
Let's just do that.
You got to play it.
Well,
That's a lock, Kramer. You've had this thing under control.
I'll run it back from the top. Army-Navy. You've got Navy laying 6 points against Army. They won it last year. Neutral site, M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland. Navy won 31-13 last year. Short and sweet. We're going to lay 6 points with Navy as the lock of the week. More reliable quarterback. There's going to come time where you got to air it out downfield. You got to hit the throws when they present themselves. I think Horvath will be able to do that more reliably than Helms will. You've got 10 big-time throws, 4 turnover-worthy plays for Helms, only 3 big-time throws for Horvath, only 3 big-time throws for Helms. So Navy -6 is the lock of the week. What is your lock of the week? We're going complete backwards.
I guess we'll just go here. I think it's really tough. We would have liked to be in front of the movement, not behind it here. So you mentioned it at first. Was opened at 4.5. It's moved to 6 now. But the reasons are clear. Navy's just flat out better offensively. Last year, this game was a game previewed by 2 superstar players at quarterback. Army had Bryson Daly. Bryson Daly's gone. So now there's just one superstar quarterback, and he plays for Navy. He could have been a Heisman finalist if it just, I don't know. Some of these guys that are Heisman finalists I don't know about. But I think.
You'd vote Horvath over Pavia?
No, I think Pavia should win.
Yeah. After that interview with Dan Mendoza, yeah.
Yeah, Pavia should win the Heisman, but we're on Army-Navy. The key thing here is field goal kicking. Field goal kicking is going to be the difference here for Navy. Navy's got the better field goal kicking team.
Okay. Good to know. Bam, which way are you going for Army-Navy, and is this your lock of the week?
I wasn't going to be on it, but I'll take Navy.
Well, you have to bet it, so welcome to the podcast. All right, we're all on Navy -6. It's all of our locks of the week. How about that? Unless you...
I got it. My own lock of the week.
Oh, great. Okay, Bam loves the bucked up LA Bowl. All right, so it's me and Nick's lock of the week. We're completely out of order here, but who gives a shit, right? There's only a couple games this week in college, so and none of them really mean much of anything. But we're gonna see what we can do in bowl season. Starting with the bucked up LA Bowl, you got the Boise State Blue Broncos taking on the Washington Huskies. Now we play the game of who's in and who's out, and that's what it's gonna. If you can find an edge on if you know X amount of players are out or certain guys are out before the public knows, you can make some money in bowl season. It's no secret. With that being said, this one is obviously the biggest question marks are going to be around Jonah Coleman and Denzel Boston, wide receiver in Boston. Coleman's the running back, 2 superstars, 2 NFL guys. Jed Fish says, the head coach of the Huskies, claims that everybody who's healthy is going to play. So that would include those 2 guys. Obviously, Damon Williams Jr. is only a sophomore, so he'll be playing. How much are they going to care about the bucked up LA Bowl? I have absolutely no idea. But I'm going to lay 9.5 points with the Huskies here. I think that's the best number we can get. I think the run defense for Washington is pretty solid. Solid enough to contain Boise's ground game. And then you force Madsen to throw, and he came back from the injury in the conference championship last week. He'd been nursing it for a few weeks. How much is he going to give a shit about this game? God only knows. That's the Russian roulette we play here. But I think Washington's significantly better. And if Maybe it's for the first half. Maybe it's full game. I don't know. We hope it's the full game. We're going to lay 9.5 points with Washington.
You can get 8.5.
We'll lay 8.5 points with Washington in the bucked up LA Bowl. Not that significant, but we'll take it. Which way are you going?
Yeah, for me it's tough because I don't trust anything Jed Fish just said.
Yeah. He doesn't look like a
In
very
other words, I
trustworthy
think
guy.
it's a little too early to be saying who's playing and who's not playing.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if like anybody that's got an NFL future sits out of this game. And that's what you expect players to do at this point. And that's kind of what everyone does. You know?
Yeah. But
Why the hell would you play? So you can fucking twist your knee and go undrafted instead?
so you can get bucked up in the LA Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm going to take him at his word.
I don't believe him. He's a lying piece of shit.
Take Boise then. They dropped 460 yards of offense against the UNLV Rebels.
Yeah, that's a different story. Washington, if everybody plays, they're top 30 offense and yards per play and points per game. They also have a top 20 third down offense. It's like I don't think Boise State's defense is really good enough to slow them down here. Boise's better against the pass than they are against the run. But the key thing here is kind of what you hinted at, where Washington defensively, a strong team against the run, top 20 rush defense nationally. We saw it kind of early on this year where Boise, games where they kind of struggled to run, they struggled to win or be competitive. So I do agree if Washington minus 9.5, I just get a little bit worried that some of these guys aren't going to play.
Even if Jonah Coleman doesn't play, though, he only ran for 9 carries. He had 9 carries in the last game against Oregon. So you have Adam Muhammad. He led the way, 14 carries over 100 yards. He averages 5 yards per carry. He's a sophomore. If he's alive, Jed Fish said he's going to play. So I still think that they're going to have more talent. And as long as Damon Williams is playing, you remember what he did last year when he burst on the scene in the most exciting bowl game? I can't remember. Who was it against? I know it came down to they went for 2.
I think it was Louisville.
Yes, and they went for 2. He fucking put the team on his back. It was an incredible performance, and they went for the win. And they didn't get it, but they covered the number. They made a big comeback. That was when I remember coming in the offseason, I was like, I might bet everything fucking Washington. He's an electric player, and when he takes off and runs, it's fun to watch. So I just think they got more talent. I think Jed Fish, don't sell me up Schitt's Creek. So minus 9.5 for the Huskies, 8.5 for the Huskies. What'd you say? What are you taking?
Yeah, Washington.
Okay, Bam. What are you taking? Is this your lock?
Maybe.
Okay, well, we need to know.
Yes, it is.
Okay. We'll come back to that for Bam. Just tell us, actually. Fuck it. I'll play the music low. Go ahead. Your lock of the week is what?
The over 51.5.
Over 51.5. Okay. Why do you like it? Give us one reason.
If some people do sit out of this game, there'll be a lot of open holes.
Do you have, like, inside info? Okay, well, now you can tell us why.
Don't worry about it.
No, I'm going to worry about it. I don't think you know anything. But this is not like where you be secretive at this point. This is why you tell people why you like it, because this guy's going to sit out. And then they come back when it happens, and they're like,
What holes are you talking about?
Are you just talking out of your ass?
Possibly.
Okay. Man, why are we being cryptic here? Because we're going to bet real money on this.
Well, you already got y'all's money on that.
Okay, but if you like the under
I like the over.
or the over, is it somebody for Boise State is fucking sitting out? What is he doing? Can you talk to him?
Bam, you have to tell us.
What game are we playing here?
I'm just saying if they happen.
Oh, okay. So, Jesus, Bam. Bam just showed his hand. Bam just hoping that like a star D tackle that he doesn't even know if they exist or not says, I don't feel like playing today.
Yeah, the over would be a good bet if Washington's defense wasn't gonna fucking skull fuck. What's his name?
Maddox Madsen.
Maddox Madsen.
Yeah, the over would be a nice play if Boise was going to score any points in this one. All right, so that's Bam's lock of the week. He's got a good hope that fucking star players on the D-line don't play, apparently.
Or don't, like, they
That's what I'm saying.
don't
If you
play
have-
with the D-line.
Yeah, if they just decide to play with fucking
Yeah, it's 7 on 7.
people. Bam. If you have information, please fill us in. This is where we tell everybody listening what the fucking info we have is.
I just have this gut feeling
Bam,
that something
Jesus,
important's gonna
Bam,
happen
you were-
and the over's gonna hit.
Something important? What is this fucking guy saying? What the fuck?
All right, let's move on.
Jesus, Bam, you just dug yourself deeper and deeper into a hole. And it's a big hole. All right. What a fucking... I can't even get over that. That's insane.
You got to stop playing with Ouija boards.
Yeah, you got to stop smoking weed every damn once a week, as you say. Bam, Jesus Christ. Are you high right now? All right. We're going to move on to the... Jesus, Bam. We're going to move on. We're going to get there. I'm going to get there. I thought you were about to drop a bomb on us. Like, oh, D-tackle for Boise. He's going to sit out. Bam just like, I hope they don't play. Anybody on defense, and we go over. Fucking Christ. All right. The IS-4S Salute to Veterans Bowl. You got Troy taking on Jacksonville State. Troy is 3.5-point favorites. I got looks at Jacksonville State earlier when we were on the wrong side with Delaware. This is a team whose quarterback struggles to pass the ball forward. But I'm going to take a page out of Bam's book, and I'm going to hope that he can. And I'm going to hope that maybe Troy's corners don't play and they can throw the ball forward. But in all seriousness, Cam Cook, the running back, TCU transfer, former 5-star, he's the best player on this fucking team. So he's got 1,600 yards rushing, 16 touchdowns. He's averaging nearly 6 yards a carry. He's got 295 carries. They give him the ball every fucking time. Tay Meadows, leading rusher for Troy, is in the transfer portal. Goose Crowder got hurt in the conference championship last week. That means Tucker Kilcrease is probably going to go. Crowder was seen on crutches. And I'll let y'all in on something because the guy at Action Network, Stuckey, does a great job of giving live updates on opt-outs and things like that. So every year it's one of the more sought-after articles in terms of good information. If Tucker Kilcrease is starting a quarterback and you got the leading rusher Meadows in the portal, I'm going to take Jacksonville State getting the 3.5 here. You can rely on Cam Cook to be able to run the ball effectively. Can their line block for him? Not very well, but he's having an incredible season. So I'll take Jacksonville State plus 3.5. What are your thoughts? Which way are you going?
Yeah. I guess we can go that way. I don't feel great about it because I think, Jacksonville State, while they are top 5 rush offense nationally, I think they're kind of dependent on the rush. So if Troy really leans in and tries to stop the run, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, they'll win by a ton.
I'm not so sure they can get it done through the air. But I think we will need Jacksonville State to at least make them pay if they load the box. So
yeah, no, this Creel kid stinks. Bad. He was 12 of 21 last week, 96 yards and an interception. He's terrible. But it's bowl season. So.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking about Jacksonville State's path to success offensively.
Yeah, we're going to need Cook to go for 250.
I know, but we're also going to need the quarterback to make some plays here.
Not going to happen, and we're not going to need it.
No, we are going to need it.
No, Cook's going to take
I'm telling you,
over.
Troy's going to sack the box.
It's not going to matter. When you got a guy like this, 1,600 rushing yards, trust me here.
Yeah. How's Jacksonville State's quarterback at running?
Good.
Is he a star?
Is he a star? No, come on. Let's see what he's got on the year. He is more of a runner than a passer. He's come on. He's got over 1,000 yards rushing.
How many touchdowns?
7.
That's good enough.
Yeah, I mean he's the second. He's got the second most. This is what they want to do. Before him they had Gavin Wimsatt from Rutgers. Remember him? He stunk even worse. So they went to this other guy who's complete and fucking. He's got a 60% completion percentage. He's bad. He's not good, but they just need him to run. And Troy, you got your leading rusher going, so now guess what we're going to do? We're going to force you to beat us on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, look, Troy's rush defense isn't any good.
You got Troy down their starting quarterback and running back. Come on. Game's in Alabama for what that's worth. We could go to this. It's in Mobile. No, sorry, Montgomery. We ain't going to that. Anyway. Bam, which way are you going for the
I wanted to go to the Birmingham Bowl.
That's this. Or this is in Birmingham.
Is it?
Yeah. It's the Salute to Veterans Bowl. There is going to be another one. I thought there used to be one in Mobile.
Is it Montgomery or Birmingham?
What? Oh, it's Montgomery. Whatever.
Okay.
Whatever. Bam, which way are you going?
I'll take Jacksonville State.
Okay. Take Troy. Why not?
Nah.
Go with your gut. All right. So there you go. Look, it's a very, very small week. Next episode, we're going to get it ramped up with bowl season. Like I said, last year, 30, 11, and 3. We dominated bowl season. We are going to do it again. To recap, I'm taking, as my lock of the week, Navy -6. I'm going Washington -9.5 in the Bucked Up LA Bowl. And in the IS4S Salute to Veterans Bowl, we are taking Jacksonville State +3.5.
I'm on the same thing.
There you go. Bam.
Jacksonville State +3.5. Navy -6. And for the lock of the week, Boise versus Washington over 51.5.
Okay. There you go. That is our best bets for college football. Bet them at your own risk.
I'm going to go pee real quick.
Okay.
Cash it.
Cash what?
You peed right before we started. Bam said, what are the odds that Nick has to pee
I'm
again?
fucking nervous about these games, all right? I got to pee so I can think clear.
You peed right before we started. We've been going for 40 minutes.
Dude, I drink a lot of water.
I downed this whole coffee and this water too. But yeah, go ahead. All right, we'll recap last week's NFL, and then we'll get to week 15. All right, let's see.
By the way, Boise does have 2 potential opt-outs.
Okay.
Their safety, Ty Benefield,
Yep.
and Cage Casey, their left tackle.
Left tackle. Okay, so they're going to be unable to open holes. You thought that there would be big holes on the D-line, but they're going to struggle to open them with the left tackle possibly being out. Look, like I said, we are having one of those years. And by one of those years, I mean something never seen before in terms of what we've done. I've had a good year, or Nick's had a good year. This is the first time that we've both had extremely good years simultaneously. So when he had his best year, I struggled in the NFL. Last year wasn't the best. This year, though, has been pretty goddamn good. That's the best way I can put it for you. So last week, we had 5 plays. And to be honest with you, we reluctantly made Thursday a contest play. We went 4-1. Our one loss was, which was our Thursday night play on the podcast, was Cowboys +3. It was a really frustrating one, to be honest with you. It was a series of unfortunate events for the Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb obviously getting the concussion. And he had 120 yards in the first half. As soon as he went out, it's like, okay, now they're going to double Pickens, and now they're going to stack the box, and it became much more difficult for the Cowboys to move the ball. With that being said, though, the Cowboys' defense that was trending in the right direction and playing better over the last few weeks, they kind of found they were a bottom-of-the-barrel defense. They found themselves in, like, middle of the pack the last 3 or 4 weeks. They reverted back to bottom of the barrel, 44 points for the Lions. I will say a little bit of a deceiving final score where the Cowboys are going about to score. They call offensive pass interference on, I think it was Ferguson. It was a dog shit call. If you want to do a no call, sure. But offensive pass interference, no way. But more than that, Schottenheimer kicking the fucking field goal on 4th and 3. Go for it. Try to score it. What are we doing? I think if that was a 3-point game, you see the Lions just kind of grind it out with Montgomery, and we probably at least get a push there. But we didn't. So, Pickens, talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers front office was probably like the Leonardo DiCaprio meme where he's pointing at the TV. They're like, yeah, that's why we fucking got rid of this guy. George Pickens couldn't have been any more uninterested and just didn't look like he gave a fuck. It was honestly extremely frustrating. short-arming, half-assing his routes. There was a deep ball that almost hit him in the goddamn foot. He didn't even make an effort for. It was tough. And to be quite honest with you, that's a perfect example of why he probably won't get paid like a number one wide receiver, because the talent is there. The talent is through the roof. But guess what? You don't get to just fucking pout and then stop caring. He took to Instagram and was like, because Richard Sherman called him out. He was like, who the fuck cares about Richard Sherman? He's like, everybody knows you were carried by the Legion of Boom. It's like, okay, buddy. Jesus Christ. He was the fucking best corner on the damn. They had Brandon Browner on the damn Legion of Boom. You want to talk about carried? We had Browner on the Saints. We played that game. That guy fucking stunk. Richard Sherman deserves his flowers. Richard Sherman he's like, we all saw what you did in San Francisco. He got all pro. He went to the Super Bowl. Pickens is a dipshit. Throw it up, he'll go get it. But unless he doesn't fucking care, unless CeeDee Lamb's hurt. We were on opposite sides of the Colts and Jaguars. It was the wrong side. I was on Colts minus 1.5, but obviously, what was the score? Was it 21-7 when Jones tore his Achilles? Or was it 14-7 they had the ball?
I'm not sure. It was one or the other.
We were at the sports book watching this. Either way, the Colts defense was not really able to stop Jacksonville, but the second Daniel Jones tore his Achilles, that was a fucking wrap. So that was tough. Packers minus 6.5 was the lock of the week. It was also your lock of the week. One of the few times this year where we agreed on a lock. At least both made it our lock. A little closer than you would like, but Packers win by 7, touchdown or interception in the end zone to seal it. They completely got stymied by the Bears in the second half, and the Bears offensively you just saw Ben Johnson getting his bag, and I think they had 3 straight scoring drives, and all of a sudden it was like, we're fucked. But Keyshawn Nixon, I said he was a liability, and he is, but he made a play when it mattered most. Texans plus 3.5 on Sunday Night Football. It's just so hard, and I think, so we talked about it, and you said you would lean Chiefs, but obviously not that much because we ended up making the Texans a contest play. We got to like reprogram ourselves where it's like the Chiefs are not the Chiefs that we're accustomed to, you know?
Right.
And offensively, they've got issues, and they're just aging, and they Kelsey, you saw it. But this Texans defense, though, there's these games where you take and you kind of got to like hold your nose, and you have that feeling in your stomach where you're like, fuck. Every time C.J. Stroud was getting sacked, I'm like, God damn it. It's like, is the defense going to be able to stop him again? And they just kept doing it, and it was fucking awesome. Travis Kelsey dropped a pass that was intercepted, and that was right in his hands. And it was very symbolic of what felt like the end of an era, an end of a run, just of pure dominance. And if you remember back to when we were doing our NFL breakdowns, I said, actually, I put out, you can find the clip on social media where I said, I think everybody keeps saying he's like Tom Brady, he's winning all this in the beginning, and referring to Mahomes. Brady won a decade without getting back to the Super Bowl. You're going to see, I think we're entering that lull where the Chiefs got to re-figure out what they're doing. Luckily, they've got the most important position locked down for the next decade, so they'll be back. But right now, they're not very good, and they're definitely going to miss the playoffs. So Texans plus 3.5 was a winner, long story short. Under 42.5 in the Vikings and Commanders was my final play of the week. And it helps when one team doesn't score at all, because most teams don't score 40 in the NFL. But the Vikings tried their best. I think it was 34-0. They beat the fucking brakes off the Commanders. Vikings were a contest play for us. We also went to the sports book, took them for a fucking couple dimes. Scarlet Pearl, see you later. Compliments of the Vikings, even money line. They win by goddamn 30 points. So it was another good week in the NFL. Long story short, I go 3-2. Brings me to 46, 30-1, 9-5 in my locks of the week. I touched on all the games. You had 3 plays. The only difference was we were opposites on Colts Jaguars. The one loss, you go 2-1. One loss was the Cowboys. Packers minus 6.5 was your lock of the week. That brings you to 32, 20-1, 10-4 in your locks of the week. It's been an incredible run, but the job is not done. 4 more weeks to go in the contest. 4 more weeks to go in the regular season. Bam, how did you do week 14?
Had 5 plays, went 3-2. So Thursday started off with Dallas. You already touched on that. Then I had the Texans plus 3.5. The Rams minus 7.5. They absolutely dismantled the Cardinals. And then I had the Cleveland and Titans under 34. That was terrible. The Browns almost scored that themselves.
Yeah.
And then for the lock of the week, I had Cincinnati and Buffalo over 52.5.
It's a good play.
Yeah, they ended up covering that number. So
Your gut forgot to tell you it was snowing, but it didn't matter.
didn't matter at all.
Didn't matter.
So that puts me at 26, 24-1, 7-6 on the locks of the week.
Yeah, Rams were probably your best play of the year so far. 7.5. You got them. I think it closed. Did it touch 10? It was at least up to 9.5. It might even touch 10.
Yeah.
Big money came in on the Rams, so you got a ton of CLV there. Rams beat the fucking brakes out of the Cardinals. It was a contest play for us.
Yeah, the Cardinals started off 7-0. I said, we are screwed. And then all of a sudden,
I didn't say that at all. The second I saw motherfucking Kyron Williams and Corum gashing them on that first drive, I was like, we're fine. We're fine. They're not going to if you can run the ball like the Rams were able to run against the Cardinals, the whole offense is going to open up. And then when you have a guy like Puka Nacua that you can just fucking throw it at and he's going to grab it no matter where it is, shit becomes a whole lot easier. And we were kind of talking about this where the Rams are just so methodical and like Nick said, they seem to always be one step ahead. You're dialing up a blitz, they got a screen called at the perfect spot. It just seems so easy. Whereas with the Packers, statistically, they're fantastic. They're the number one third down offense, EPA per play. All of that looks great. Jordan Love on paper is playing fantastic. But something's just not right. I don't fucking know what it is. They love to get themselves into second and manageable and then run some dumbass shit, and then they got a third and short, and they pick it up a lot of the times, the number one third down offense, but it's just – it seems like they're like, okay, we're going to take a shot here. And it's like they're playing percentages. And no matter what, we're going to take a shot on this one and see what we can do. 3rd and 2, we're going to take a shot. Maybe we go for it on 4th down. And it's just, whereas the Rams, it seems more designed with the Packers, where the Rams, it's like they can just do whatever they want. And McVay just calls a perfect game, whereas I think there's talent for the Packers, but LaFleur is not as good of a play caller as McVay, and I think that is the difference, where like the feel for the game and when to call what, McVay's the best at it. So, and I think that is the difference. I don't know. What do you think? Because I've said it all year, where it's like I'm big on the Packers. I have the future on the Packers, but something's off. It's just not as buttoned up or as crisp as it should be, but on paper it is.
Yeah. Offensively, they're good on paper, but yeah, at times they have too many negative plays that kind of take them out of the rhythm of their offense.
But also, too, I don't think Josh Jacobs gets enough credit because, like, I think the drop-off from Jacobs to who's the backup, Marshawn Lloyd? I think he's a good running back, but Josh Jacobs has to make people miss in the backfield so many times. Like it's a number of occasions. I literally said it in real time when we were watching at the sportsbook. They did that dumbass fucking toss. They called timeout to run a toss play with no leverage, no numbers. And I said it in real time. I said, but Josh Jacobs is just fucking better. And he made 2 people miss and got the first down. It was an incredible individual effort. I think he does that so many times that it's like he doesn't get enough credit for how good of a running back he is. And that pickup by them from the Raiders was huge last year. But if he were to go out, I think that's like, and he had already been banged up earlier this year, I think that's a tremendous loss for the Packers. I think it's the play calling. I think that's what it is. And that's what I think it's LaFleur. And he just calls dumbass shit at the wrong time. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, but I think they just chunk it deep sometimes.
But that feels like it's predetermined.
It might be.
And I don't think that's...
It could be a Jordan Love thing, though, taking the shot.
And everything's a floater. And it worked against the Bears, luckily. You got Watson coming back. You got Melton, but it's like they almost got tipped. We're complaining. We're, I guess, crying over a winner. Did you say what your record was, Bam?
Yep.
Okay. All right, we look ahead to Week 15. 4 more weeks to go. We got to close it out strong. And like I said, the pressure is going to get ramped up here big time. We're struggling on Thursday. Thursday has not gone well. We started off extremely well. Do this every single year. Once we hit Thanksgiving, Thursday goes to shit. But we're going to try to get back on track tonight or this week. You've got the Falcons going on the road to take on Tampa Bay. Divisional matchup. You got the Buccaneers laying 4.5 points. The total sits at 44.5. At one point, we were high on the Falcons this year. And at one point, that offense was dynamic and they showed a lot of promise. These two teams played earlier in the year. It was a missed field goal by Young Wei Koo. They cut him, ran him out of town. But then Penix got hurt. Drake London's been out of the lineup for the last few weeks with the AC joint. Will he be back this week? If I had to bet on it, which I do, I guess, but if I had to give you my honest opinion, I don't expect him to be back. They didn't practice today, but he was listed as what would have been a non-participant. If he is back, even better. But we're going to take the Falcons plus 4.5 here. Kirk Cousins, oddly enough, might fit this offense better than Michael Penix. I understand you spent the first-round pick on Penix. You signed Kirk Cousins to a giant deal and then benched him because he wasn't playing well. They have a ton of weapons on this offense. More when London's healthy, obviously. But on third down, they're abysmal. They're not good on third down. I think Kirk Cousins just has to play point guard. Get it to your weapons. Bijan Robinson's arguably the best running back in the league. But this is just outside anything more than 4. I'm taking the Falcons here. The Buccaneers have got a ton of injuries. Tyke Smith got hurt last week. Wirfs is questionable to play. The Falcons should be getting Jalen Walker back, Russian quarterback off the edge. Baker struggles against the blitz. The Falcons blitz at, I think it's the second highest rate in the NFL. Baker has also fallen off a cliff in terms of the beginning of the year. Remember, Baker was on his MVP run, and everybody was saying this and that. I was over here screaming, that motherfucker keeps throwing it to the safeties, and the linebackers hitting him in the hands, and they're just not catching it. He's got a shitload of turnover-worthy plays. He was having a ton of luck. That's exactly what it was, a ton of luck in terms of they were just dropping them right in their hands. They stopped dropping them. He's now got 6 picks on the year. The turnovers are starting to stack up. He's not playing very well, and they've dealt with a ton of injuries this year, whether it's Godwin or Mike Evans. Egbuka looks like he's fallen back to earth a little bit. The Buccaneers have lost 4 out of their last 5. They just lost at home to the New Orleans Saints, and we're not that good. So the Falcons stink too, but I still think that the market hasn't really caught up to how average this Buccaneers team is, and below average at that. So I think after what we saw them do earlier in the season, I think they're still getting more credit than they deserve. So I'm going to take the Falcons plus 4.5 for the play on Thursday. You concur?
Yep.
Anything to add to it, or you wholeheartedly agree?
I agree. Not much more to add.
Same.
Okay, you're on Falcons as well?
Yep.
Yeah, it's just too many points. I don't
Yeah, I mean,
don't love
it's a
it.
team like I still think the Falcons aren't that bad with Cousins at quarterback.
No, that's why I said he oddly might fit the offense better than Penix.
So
Penix has got talent, but in terms of you just got to move the fucking chains, and he struggles.
yeah,
to do
I
it.
agree with you though. I don't know if London's going to be back, but with that being said, I think they have to get Bijan involved in the passing game a little bit more.
I agree, and it's also misleading too. We were in the sportsbook watching it last week. At halftime, it was 6-6. Falcons were tied 6-6 with the Seahawks, one of the best teams in the league. And then you start the second half off with the Rashid Shaheed kick return touchdown, and all of a sudden the floodgates are open at that point. So that first half, they were going toe-to-toe with them. So, like I said, floodgates got completely open. They got the doors blown off of them. But there was some big money was on the Falcons last week, let's put it that way. So, yeah, I mean, what has Tampa shown you that you can feel comfortable laying more than 4 points here? So, yeah, we'll all go Falcons plus 4.5 is the play for Thursday. We've hit a cold patch on Thursday nights, but we're going to try to get back to the winner's circle here. We go to Sunday. I have 2 plays on a lock. What about you?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Bam, how many do you have?
2 more than a lock.
Okay. You go first.
I'll skip this one.
Why?
Because I'm thinking you might be on this one.
Oh, you looked at my sheet.
No, we've just been talking about that game for a couple weeks now.
It's my lock.
All right. So yeah, I'll just wait for you for that one. But I'm going to go to Ravens-Bengals. And this one's a little bit annoying because as much as, like, I don't want to do it, I'm going to do it.
The Ravens.
No.
Wow. Okay.
I feel like this is a little bit squarish here. But I really do. We're going to go Bengals plus 2.5 at home. I really think the Ravens are kind of in a similar boat as the Chiefs here, where maybe talent-wise and team-wise, on paper, they should be better than they are. They're just not. And we see it week after week where, to me, the Pittsburgh Steelers are not that great of a team. I think their defense is overrated, and offensively, what the Ravens allowed the Steelers to do, to me, is inexcusable. I think the Ravens struggle in the back end. T. Higgins and concussion protocol again. I don't know if that's that big of a factor here. I think Burrow is good enough to get it to some of the no-name guys along with Jamar Chase here to put up a fight here and possibly win this game outright. So we're going to go Bengals plus 2.5.
Okay. I was kind of expected you to go the other way when you mentioned it. Obviously, I was there on Sunday and saw what happened. Yeah, I don't like the Ravens. I think the Ravens are fundamentally broken, just like the Chiefs are, like you said. But yeah, I don't feel good enough either way. I thought you would go Baltimore.
This is one of my plays also.
Okay. Which way are you going, Bam? Over?
Bengals plus 2.5.
Oh. Well, hot dog. How do you feel about that?
Okay. I told you it was a little squarish.
Typically you and Bam go ahead.
As soon as you said this might be a little squarish, I said, fuck, it's on my list.
Shit. All right. My first one, maybe this is a little squarish. We're going to go to the Titans going on the road to take on the 49ers. The Niners laying 12.5. Total sits at 44.5, but that's not important because we're going to lay 12.5 points with the 49ers here. I don't know if you've been watching the NFL this year, but the Tennessee Titans fucking suck. And they just won last week against another team that fucking sucks. Are they going to win 2 games in a row? Certainly not. Are they going to hang around in this one? 49ers coming off a bye. They won their last 3 games by double digits. The offense is clicking. Obviously, you know what you got with Christian McCaffrey. I just don't. Did the Titans even want to win this game? You want to get a good draft pick. They said they might fucking go get another quarterback because Cam Ward stinks. I'm going to lay 12.5 points with the 49ers. Could be a little square. What are your thoughts on it?
That's which way I would lean. I mean, all season it's been the Titans are one of the worst NFL teams I've ever seen. And this is a spot where they're coming off of a win as 4.5 point underdogs. I think it's reasonable to expect them to return to how they've been playing for most of the season.
Yeah, I mean, and
the 49ers are kind of flying under the radar here. I think they're kind of like good enough to be a playoff team. They're just, well,
they're in a crazy division, and that kind of goes into it too. And Pollard hit an explosive against the Browns. He had the 65-yard touchdown run. You can't really bank on that to happen too consistently, but the 49ers, when you look at the division, they just so happen to be with the Rams and the Seahawks, both sitting at 10-3. So I think the Niners would be in as it sits currently. Can you pull up the NFC playoff picture for me, Bam? I think as it stands, they would be in. But the Bears, who were just first place in their division, lost to the Packers. They dropped. I think the Bears just dropped to the 7th seed. The Niners at the 6th, almost certain. So there's no room for error. You're in now. You got to keep winning. Don't even play with your food here. Coming off of a bye, extra time to prepare against one of the fucking bottom feeders, if not the worst team in football. This team absolutely stinks. So,
yeah. So 49ers are 6th.
Bears are 7th.
Bears are 7th.
Yep. Okay.
But they both have 9-4 records. The 49ers are just 4-1 in their division, and the Bears are 1-3 in their division.
Yeah, that doesn't matter to me. We're worried about the wild card. So, yeah, I'm going with the Niners. Like I said, last game they played the Browns 26-8. They played the Panthers before that 20-9. The defense has been holding the bad offenses to single-digit points the last couple times out. They dropped 41 on the Cardinals on the road. So, you're back home off a bye against a shitty team. It's a big number, but we're going to lay it. 49ers minus 12.5. What is your next one for Sunday?
I'm gonna lay 11.5 with the Eagles. And I know this is like, here's the reason.
After what Pete Carroll just did to the Broncos?
Yeah. Here's the reason. I think the Raiders, they really struggle against the run, right? And I think kind of where Philadelphia is as a team offensively is I think they have to get back to leaning on the run here. And
Saquon was having success.
Yeah. I think I don't know why they don't get Bigsby involved more to take some of the load off of Saquon, but they really need to. And I think it's become evident after last game, right? Hurts' last game last night.
Four picks.
You had another fumble, I think.
Yes.
5 total turnovers.
Yes.
It's like you have to go back to giving the ball to your best player as many times as you can.
Yeah, that was a dogfight of a game. Why is Hurts throwing for 40 fucking attempts? Like 21 of 40, 240 yards, 4 picks. One obviously through A.J. Brown's hands, but a little bit of a high ball, I guess. The point is he's playing like shit. Another one was tipped, but that was in a bad throw in his zone coverage. It was not open at the end of the game to end the game. Saquon was 20 carries, 122 yards, 6 yards per carry.
Yeah, I think Philadelphia defensively is still pretty good. It's the reason why their record is as good as it is right now. They could be – the way their offense has played this season, they really – if you just look at the offense, it's a losing team.
The thing that worries me about them is it's just stylistically the way they play. They're having trouble passing the ball. Like, they're not designed to win by margin. Their last 2 wins were against quality teams, Lions and Packers. They won 16-9 and 10-7. Raiders fucking suck. I understand. But it's like, where is this team at mentally now? Because you've lost 3 in a row. You've got A.J. Brown probably tweeting, reading like what to do if your quarterback fucking sucks right in front of Jalen Hurts. Like, it's one of those.
Where are they sitting now record-wise?
They're 8-5. They're leading the division.
Yeah.
And obviously Dallas has got an uphill climb. It's just the winning by margin. You got to win by 2 scores, 2 touchdowns. But yeah, I mean, I feel like, in all seriousness, I feel like the Eagles and the Broncos are similar, led by the offenses that aren't very good, in my opinion. In terms of, I don't think the Broncos' offense is great. I've been saying it all year. You saw the Raiders be at 10 and inside the number. Were they at home, though?
Yeah, that's the other thing is Raiders are traveling cross-country to the East Coast to play a noon game.
Yes.
And to me, that's a big factor in why I like the Eagles.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not trying to talk you off of it. It's also what we say, you're never as bad as you looked, but Hurts might be that bad.
I think he's that bad, but I think like kind of where they've gotten away from is really trying to find a way to run the football this year.
Yeah.
And I think even the past couple games.
Well, they need Lane Johnson back. They need to get – that would be big.
Yeah, Jalen Carter too.
Yes.
It's early in the week, so it's kind of up in the air whether those 2 guys come back. But I thought they had success last night running the ball. And I was surprised they didn't try to lean on it a little bit more.
They also got after the quarterback in a big way, too. I think they sacked Herbert maybe 7 times. It was Mekhi Becton had one of the worst Pro Football Focus grades in terms of pass blocking I've ever seen. I think it was like 0.3, and he came over from Philly. Now you get to go up against a completely broken offensive line and the Raiders. So, I mean, if the Eagles mentally are still intact in that locker room, they should beat the brakes off the Raiders. The Raiders suck, but that's a big if, I guess. What is your last one before you lock, Bam?
Chargers at Chiefs. I'm going to take the Chargers, plus 4.5 here.
Okay.
I just think the Chiefs.
You on this?
Wheels are falling off. Your lock is probably the Chiefs.
It's not, but I stayed away from it, but I thought about laying it. What are your thoughts? Which way do you lean?
It's too many points.
It's just too many. But I wanted to, I was alarmed by how many times fucking Herbert was sacked. That offensive line play. I just said it. Literally just said it. That offensive line played fucking terrible.
Yeah, and I think that's the kind of the key here is that, like, Kansas City's not playing well, but I mean, the Chargers aren't really doing great either. So it's like,
no, I mean, Hampton's just back from the injury, but they were like, he can't pass block, so that's why they kept going with Vidal. Pipkins got hurt, so if that offensive line becomes even worse, Chris Jones is gonna fuck Mekhi Becton on national television. So I would be worried about that if I were you, Bam. On the flip side, there's just so many injuries on the offensive line for the Chiefs, and Herbert's just one of the. He just is a fucking really good player, and he just pulls it out late. And but if you look at the way they took McConkey out of that game completely. They schemed him out of that game altogether. But then also, too, McDuffie, is he going to play? There's just too many question marks that I decided to stay away from it. I'm not trying to talk you off the Chiefs, but I mean off the Chargers, but I was alarmed with how much pressure they gave up. If this was, and look, it looks like it opened 5.5, so money came in on the Chargers. 5.5 to 4.5 is not significant, so there's people that agree with you, I guess. If this was like 3, I'm in on KC. So if we get a little bit lower, but Travis Kelce looks like he fucking packed it in. All right, my last one before my lock, and you can let me know quick if this is crazy here. Packers on the road taking on the Broncos. We're going to lay 2.5 points with the Green Bay Packers. I don't think the Broncos offense is good. I think Bo Nix is overrated. Great defense for the Broncos, but a pretty damn good defense for the Packers too. Maybe we see a little defensive battle here. I trust the Packers to win by field goal and pull it out at any point in time. I could see the Packers win by margin here. I wouldn't be shocked. I would be surprised if the Broncos ran away with it. So a close game, I think the Packers will pull it out. I can see a scenario where Green Bay lays a big number on them. I just don't see a scenario where the Broncos run away with it. I understand they're 6-0 at home. I just haven't been impressed with the offense. I have not been impressed with Bo Nix. They play a lot. They play everybody close, and I just think the Packers right now can't quit them. I'm laying 2.5 points with Green Bay. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a tough one, but I have faith in the Packers. The thing that worried me from last week is not so much the offense, but the defense, how they were letting Chicago just run it down there at the end.
Yes.
And
But I mean, you think Denver can?
I don't know.
I think that's so Denver's offensive line is fucking really good too. Don't get me wrong. But Chicago's offensive line might be playing the best in the league right now.
Yeah, I think so. The key takeaway from last week, Packers-Bears, is that the Packers are really good, but the Bears are also good as well.
Yeah. No, I was impressed. I came away impressed, and I think they're going to play the Packers in like a week or two, and I think that's a spot to potentially look at depending on what the number is. But I came away more impressed with the Bears than I expected to be.
But, yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look into it a little bit more, but
I think this Packers defense and the pass rush and all of that is comparable to anybody else in the league.
I do think the Packers are close to getting on a roll here to
that's the way
finish the season.
That's the way I'm feeling, and I've been low on this Broncos team all year. You look at their last 5 games, 3-point win on the road against Houston, 3-point win against the Raiders, obviously the weather game that we were on the wrong side of, 3-point win against Kansas City, 1-point win in overtime against the Commanders, and then 7-point win, obviously late, meaningless touchdown, essentially a 10-point win against the Raiders last week. They're playing a lot of subpar teams close. You got a Houston team that is better now than they were, but with a broken offense at the time at least. You've got the Raiders, who absolutely suck. They played them twice in the last 4 weeks. Kansas City, we just talked about, they've got their issues. You got the Commanders with the backup quarterback. They're not playing anybody the top upper echelon of teams, and they're not dominating anybody. I'm not impressed with Bo Nix. I've said it all year. So maybe I'm too low on him. You got 19 touchdowns, 9 picks. Like I said, we've talked about the Packers and my issues with them. But you've got Jaden Reed coming back and trying to get back up to speed. It's only second or third game all year. He'd been out for the last 10 weeks or so. I just trust the Packers, and they do have the number 1 third down offense, and I just trust that they're going to be able to move the ball more consistently, and I'm not going to be surprised if it's a dogfight, scrappy game, and I think under a field goal, I'll lay it with Green Bay. And it opened, I think, at 1.5. Money came in on the Packers, hadn't gone back the other way. I would expect it's probably going to touch 3, so we'll get in before it touches 3. Packers minus 2.5. All we have left are our locks.
Yeah.
You as well, Bam?
Yep.
All righty. No such thing as a lock, but if there was.
It's a lock, Kramer. You've had this thing under control for almost 3 years now. But it's a lock.
They need that fucking juice. They need that next bet. They need. Come on. Yes! When they win, they go fucking crazy.
You're a bad motherfucker. Go in that shower, grab your fucking nuts, and tell the world somebody's sniffing my fucking nutsack today. Because I ain't got time to fuck around no more.
All right, from my lock of the week in the NFL, we've pegged this one from a couple weeks back. We're going to lay 1 point with the Buffalo Bills on the road, taking on one of the hottest teams in the league in the New England Patriots. Drake May might win the MVP trophy. He's having an incredible season. Patriots are 11-2, 5-2 at home, and they haven't played anybody with a fucking pulse. They've had the easiest schedule I've ever seen in my life. The best team they played earlier in the year, the Buffalo Bills, they beat them on the road. Now you've got the Bills coming back. Got to lay 1 point with them. I'll do it. I think Milton Williams went on IR. That was the talk of this Patriots defense, was they can really stop the run. Secondary you can have a little bit of success with. It's kind of flipped in the last few weeks. Milton Williams went on IR. All of a sudden, they can't stop the run. They're having more success on the back end. Gonzalez is a great corner. They have not played any good quarterbacks, though. If you go look at it, they've literally played all the worst quarterbacks in the league. It's been the easiest schedule I've ever seen. By default, I'm laying 1 point with Buffalo here. I think they get their lick back, and Buffalo's about to go on a run here as well. Bills -1 is my lock of the week.
Yeah, that's which way we're going to.
Back to back? 2 weeks in a row?
And yeah, you touched on it. I think these teams are fairly close to each other. You talked about New England beating them early in the year, and you also talked about the other key point that I wanted to bring up was what we've kind of been seeing out of this Patriots team, specifically at the line of scrimmage defensively, is like they're missing something, right? And you've seen some teams have success running the ball on them the past couple of weeks.
That's something's Milton Williams.
Yeah, I think the Bills here can keep up and win this game by running the football.
This is going to be playoff football. James Cook, Josh Allen's going to use his legs. They're going to do what they got to do to win. And the Patriots are going to run away with this division. But you're going to see the Bills run away with this game.
Yeah, and I think the bye week kind of comes at a funny point for the Patriots coming off of a bye. They were really kind of rolling. To me, it kind of seems more as that it could be more of a speed bump than anything.
Yeah. Let's just look, seriously, in all seriousness, let's look at who they've played. The quarterbacks they've played this year. You start the season off with the Raiders. Geno Smith, they suck. They lost, but the Raiders fucking suck. The Dolphins with Tua. The Steelers, Aaron Rodgers. Lost that one too. That was turnovers at the goal line, all of that. But that's not a good Steelers team. As we can see now, Aaron Rodgers not playing good. You played the Panthers. So we'll just go straight quarterbacks. Geno Smith, Tua, Aaron Rodgers, Bryce Young, Josh Allen, Spencer Rattler, Cam Ward, Joe Flacco, or whoever the hell the Browns were starting, whoever the hell the Falcons were starting, either Penix or Kirk Cousins, Baker, whoever the hell the Jets were starting. The Bengals did they have Burrow back? No, you had Flacco, and then Jackson Dart. Who's the best quarterback they've seen not named Josh Allen? Aaron Rodgers? They played nobody.
thought you said somebody that had
Baker?
Yeah, Baker.
Yeah, they fucking beat them on the road 28-23. This is when they started making their downslide. And Baker, 273 yards, 3 touchdowns. But the point being, I think the Patriots are good. I think the Patriots are ahead of schedule. I do think Drake May is really fucking good. But I don't think the team is as good as their record. This is just like last week. Carbon copy from last week with the Bears and the Packers. I think we see the Bills come out and play playoff football, run the ball. They're going to have success running it. Milton Williams, there's a big gap on that D-line in his absence. At one point, I'm laying it with the Bills. So, and it sounds like you are as well as your lock of the week. Back-to-back weeks where we agree on a lock. Bam, what is your lock of the week?
Going to the Packers at Broncos, but we're gonna go to the under here, 43.5. Two great defenses. Broncos, I'm not expecting them to light it up on the offensive end. And then a little bounce back game from the rushing D for Green Bay this week. So taking under 43.5.
Okay, I don't disagree. Alrighty, there you go. That is our best bets for NFL Week 15. To recap, Thursday night I'm taking the Falcons plus 4.5. We're going to lay 12.5 points with the 49ers. Packers minus 2.5 on the road. And then my lock of the week, the Buffalo Bills minus 1.
We're going Falcons plus 4.5, Bills minus 1.
Yes.
Is that what you got?
Yes.
For the lock of the week, Bengals plus 2.5 and Eagles minus 11.5.
Okay, Thursday we're going Falcons plus 4.5, Chargers plus 4.5, Bengals plus 2.5, and Green Bay, Denver under 43.5 as the lock of the week.
There you go. Best bets for Week 15, best bets for the first week of bowl season in college football as well as Army-Navy. We're going to try to have another winning week. It's been our Slumdog Millionaire year in the NFL. I've said it a million times, but get used to this because we're not going anywhere. We got 4 more weeks for the rest of our lives. Episode 245 is in the books. Do you have anything to say before we go?
Nope.
Bam?
Nope.
Y'all have a good one. Who dat?
The house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house. I've been practicing this, but a little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed.
That was good. I liked it.